Please stand by for transmission. Monday, February 27th, 8:04 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Squad Teamwork Guild Command Center. Radio podcast briefing online. Mr. Zeppo on comms. Greetings and salutations, friends and fellow members of Squad Teamwork. I am the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo, your Chief Executive Officer and founding Guildmaster. And this is the Squad Teamwork Guild Command Center audio briefing radio podcast show. Thank you for tuning in. And welcome to Squad Teamwork. If you are an aspiring recruit that has not formalized your involvement in Squad Teamwork, please feel free, if you are on Xbox platform, to add me directly in the dashboard search menu for new friends, like out of game. When you first fire up your Xbox, go to your friends and social menu tab. I forget the exact steps off the top of my head. I'm still relatively new to the Xbox platform, actually. But I am an old school gamer, and we'll talk more about that in other episodes. If you are in-game or a cross-platform friend in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, please feel free to add me directly if we're not already friends in the game. Same directive stands for any and all other games that I am actively involved in, and in which we are trying to set up a Squad Teamwork command chapter. What is Squad Teamwork, you might ask? Well, friends, I'm here to answer that question exactly and tell you a little bit about our overall cultural vibe and set a bit of ground rules down so that everyone, without excuses, is aware. If there's any episode of this podcast show that could be considered technically a requirement of being involved in Squad Teamwork in any game, it would be this one. And to that, I would like to add this following standing recommendation. Friends, if you're recruiting someone into Squad Teamwork, which any officer has open free license to do, and any player, any member, standard basic member in the guild, has the essential green light to go ahead and make the opening maneuver and then just reference an interested player to an officer and or just send them directly to the group page so they can kind of orient themselves. And that link, by the way, our central hub, if you're out there playing and you know someone super cool and the game we're in does not have a guild system, for example, I don't think that Super Mecha Champions has an in-game guild system up and running. But let's say you're playing a game that's like that, and you're trying to recruit somebody, and you're encouraging them to get involved. Just drop them this simple-to-remember link. So maybe write it down, make it easy to copy-paste into your chat whenever you're chit-chatting away or whatever. It's also super short, so it's easy to remember. And tell them they can find this podcast, and this episode in particular, as it's the only one that it's like, I would like to encourage it to be something that we suggest everyone try to give a listen to, because it's about the fundamentals of our behavioral, cultural expectations of each other. And no matter what else you think of video gaming, and no matter where you come from in the world, or what political party you might be affiliated with, or what philosophical worldview you might have, or what faith you might belong to, when it comes to gaming, We're here for the game. And it works best if we all chill the F out and play the game for the purposes of enjoying it. To that end, friends, welcome. This is Squad Teamwork. Its official name is Squad, all caps, capital T, Team, capital W, Work. Its official game tag in most games is STW42. And here, my friends, is the basic 3 bullet point code of conduct, which is directly lifted / adapted / inspired by the in-game code of conduct from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. No rights infringement is intended, but I did co-opt a screen grab of that precious page, which is ever so rare. It doesn't ever come back to remind players. I would throw this suggestion out to Activision. Dear Activision, feature request recommendation. Take a fun, theme-adapted version of that page with the code of conduct, and make a graphic that fits the new season. For example, let's say you're about to launch Season 3, right? Really quick, I like to do this. I don't think anyone from Activision is listening, but if, just in case someday, they might be. I want to, there'll always be like my feature requests riddled throughout. Here's another reason why I do these. I humbly, one of the pillars of Squad Teamwork is to be a helpful member of the gaming enthusiast community, no matter which game. And this is a basic principle. I may be talking about Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox, but this applies to whatever game you and I know each other from, whether it's T3 Arena on your phone, or Shadow Legends or Fortnite. Just kind of replace the game name and apply the same principles and or statements I may be making. 99% of the time, that'll all make sense. Of course, all the caveats of way not. Okay, so if I make a call out like feature request, that's an open call to be like, join in, let's start a movement, write to the game, whichever game it is, write to Activision and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, insert some other game names here, and ask them for this feature request, because we are a vocal, positive feature request and bug reporting community. You don't have to, it's not a requirement, but it's strongly encouraged. Just planting seeds, friends. So feature request, Activision et al. Games. Take a simple, bullet-pointed, big idea into snappy, coalesced title, bullet-pointed words that make sense. Sort of like what you did with this original graphic. I think this is from beta. And this has stuck with me. I've been inspired by this image. I took a screen grab of it because I thought it was super tidy and compact and really on point and really graphically, in the world. And it made me feel like I was joining, an outfit, to borrow lingo from this sort of fantasy fiction culture. Or a regimen, or a community of free agents, whatever. Anyways, to shoot multiple stones into the air and get a few birds down with one chuck. Here goes. Here is my take, the fundamental 3 bullet points of our essential code of conduct. Respect, integrity, mindfulness, right? To finish my feature request idea, I would love to see a distillation of this image with these bullet points as part of the loading screen, right? Maybe in between the Activision and other studios roll, that's the first thing we see. And then we used to get the Ricochet anti-cheat. What happened to that? I love that little moment with that graphic and that clip. I guess they were trying to tighten down the opening sequence so it wasn't so long. But maybe in between that Activision and then the Call of Duty title montage sequence, or maybe after that, and then you get to the still image of the title with it, and that's usually graphically themed. It's now red and flamey for season 2. Season 2 is very heavy on the red color choice. I love it. Give us a season with where the primary keystone color is that delicious velvety purple. Feature request within a feature request, but show us the code of conduct. Remind the community of millions of players, because friends, let's admit it, in moments of anger and weakness and probably grieving of loss, and or other kinds of frustrations, someone else ain't playing up to their expectations, players get a little toxic, get a little angry, get a little screamy and yelly into their open mic, and sling around some, potentially offensive language. I'm not a language police. I'm infamously known amongst my friends to be quite creative with my salty language, but I don't use F-bombs like commas, right? That ain't my shtick. That isn't my routine. I can sometimes, when I'm role-playing, get a little heavier with it, as long as we all realize we're role-playing. And I try to avoid using, aggressive, tactical, foul language to sting, hurt, wound people, because I think I'm a little too good at it, and it causes problems. Even if you're mediocre at it, it causes problems. And like I said before, friends, we are here to enjoy the game for the game. And if you're having an off night and you're feeling wound up and frustrated, vent that in private chat moments with your friends, or off stream, off comms with your family, and talk about it. And if you're having anger management issues, seek help. We're a supportive community, and if someone's not feeling right, we're here to encourage each other to seek the kind of assistance that might be necessary within the bounds of standard right and wrong and, code of ethics and all that. Okay, so what do I mean by respect, integrity, and mindfulness? And I'll try to keep this episode super short so everybody listens. As I'm going to quote from the original screen grab that I got from Call of Duty, and then I'm going to add my spin or flavor to it too. Their original 3 bullet points are a little bit differently worded. Treat everyone with respect, which I really appreciate because it's quite specific. And then they followed up with a paragraph. We do not tolerate bullying or harassment, including derogatory comments based on race, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, age, culture, faith, mental or physical abilities, or country of origin. Sadly, friends, I've heard all of that spewed in anger and or frustration and or just unexplored rage at people in lobby comms. And it happens, right? Like in ranked in particular, people are extra wound up because it means extra. People are trying to get to a semi-pro place with their performance, and every win-loss counts a little extra heavy. But it's not necessary. And it doesn't help anyone get better at the game. Does it? So, compete with integrity is the next one, which, I shrunk them down to one word because people remember them a little bit better, I think, that way. Competitive integrity is core to the Call of Duty experience, and I would argue gaming culture in general. And we all have been accused of being hackers, or, it's fucking, sorry, pardon for the F-bomb as comma there. It is effing trendy now to be like, oh, they're a cheater, they're a cheater, they're a cheater. Especially, for some reason, if a female player or a minority player gets really, really good, they get extra toxic hate from parts of the community out there, and from the critics that are out to trash talk people and ruin their potential, whatever streaming or league aspirations. But the best way to combat cheating is to not cheat. First step one, right? You want the world to be a good place? Be a good person. And we all fail. We're all flawed human beings. And we all have the duality of, the little devil on our shoulder and the little angel on the opposite side. The yin and the yang, the up and the down, the light and the dark. Whichever terminology you can most intimately relate to it. Everybody is a little messed up that way. And sometimes we make the wrong choice. Forgiveness is key. But learning through returning to the principles of respect, integrity, and the final one that I'll explain in a minute, which is where I most drastically, stepped away from their language. But using those tools consciously, we become better gamers, we become a better community for the game, and we become influencers in the lobbies and in the culture of the enthusiasts. I think we can. I've seen it happen before, and I aim to help facilitate that happening again. Okay, the final bullet point here, as originally presented by Activision and the massive collection of collaborating studios, is this: stay vigilant. Now that gets a little, us versus them-ish, but we'll talk about that another time. Stay vigilant. Working together, we can keep the game fair and fun for all. And that's something we can all get behind, I believe. To promote an enjoyable gameplay experience. See how this is what inspired me. To promote an enjoyable gameplay experience, utilize the in-game tools to report any incidents or inappropriate behaviors you encounter. Now, I have never reported anybody as of yet, even though on occasion I have been confronted with language by people that was report-worthy, right? And I don't like to throw around the toxicity labels, but because I think they can be overused. Even good things can be used in mal-intentioned ways, friends. We must be savvy. And that's why I tweaked the idea a little bit in my version. So the first two, respect, integrity. The third one is mindfulness. And I'm literally trying to bring a little bit of Zen flavor to it. Mindfulness, to give the foundation here, in a Zen Buddhist way. And I'm not trying to, recruit people into a philosophy of that. I'm just inspired by it, right? As a creator, as an artist. And I'm tipping a hat, respect to some of the principles expressed therein. But also, ain't nobody gonna have to care about it if they don't want to. But here's what it means inside of squad teamwork. Mindfulness. We must strive as enthusiasts of any game to enjoy the game, to approach the challenges of the game, and to remember we're never going to win every single effing moment, every beat, every conflict, every encounter. If we did, it would be boring. We have to lose in order for the game to be thrilling. And the mindfulness is about observing whatever's going on without getting caught up in that downward spiral of making it super hyper personal and then letting the ego get all snarky about it. Down that path, we take ourselves into darkness, dear friends. Both in the way we act in game lobbies and the way we might make choices out there in the real world. So I'll just leave that there. We do have some cultural objectives here at Squad Teamwork, not to get too sophisticated. I think a lot of times, gamers organize a squad or a guild, and they're really just about getting everyone else to play the game together. And they may have some principles, they may have some codes. Maybe I overthink things, but I'm trying to bring a little specificity. Allow me to share with you these ideas, and then make of them what you will. Your feedback is strongly recommended. Again, not mandatory. I'm not a heavy-handed tyrant, as some community leaders out there in the gaming world may have been or might be. I'm just striving to create a chill, collectivist take on how to play this game, how to interpret the code of conduct for Call of Duty and other games, and we as founders, because there's a little group of us. I'm the weird initiative taker. They're just sort of along for the ride. So all of this command center radio broadcast idea it's mostly my brainchild. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Don't worry, just enjoy the ride and see if this works." And that's not a dismissal. I'm just saying they're really specifically, I think, in favor of the overall attitude of being professional, chill, and I add to my language of relaxed and groovy. So we've chosen as the founders, this sort of spin on the default code of conduct from Call of Duty to be the code of conduct for Squad Teamwork. Obviously, in large part because we play a lot of Call of Duty. STW42, Squad Teamwork, as it is known, is one of the fastest growing in-game communities for Modern Warfare 2 as a guild for casual, relaxed, and groovy gamers that are interested in teaming up with other players they've already played with or that they know are already familiar with the same sort of ideas, boundaries, objectives, sort of norms that we're establishing for our little group. And teaming up and playing with a professional courtesy and teamwork-based collaborative mindset. That's our thing. We want to be known for a group that's, maybe we're not power players, all of us. Maybe we're not all, hardcore OG pros from, 20 years of playing in the franchise. How old is the original Squad of Teamwork? How old is the original Call of Duty game? I don't know, but I guess I could ask the internet real quick in real time, although that will make the episode a little longer. When was the very first... Sometimes I ask really worded questions. What's the first thing that comes up when I type that? The most common searches for that are Thanksgiving, car manufacturing, school shooting, World Cup, computer invented, phone invented, camera invented, movie invented. When was the very first Call of Duty game released? October 9, 2003. So not quite 20 years ago. But we're getting there, friends. And I respect that there are members of the Modern Warfare 2 player community that have probably been playing Call of Duty games since October 29, 2003. I'm not that guy. All right? I'm not pretending to be that guy. But I am an old school gamer that's been playing video games in general since 1983. And I've been involved in, I've been really involved in video game communities, learning and soaking up information, what I've seen work that other people have come up with, what I've been involved with that sort of didn't do much, didn't really quite work, what was effective, what I found interesting, and, what I found sort of weird. Why would you make a guild community agree to that? And sort of honing my skill set for this since 1993. So I might not be a Call of Duty expert, but I am a really well-experienced in-game guild, squad, clan, community building consultant, you might say. And I'm an up-and-comer noob to Call of Duty. I have been, just to share with you, for those of you who may not know, been playing Call of Duty titles ranging from Vanguard to World War II to Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 4 and a few others sprinkled in. That's just to pick a few off the list. Now, I don't have the whole collection, but I've been playing those for about, I'm going to say 4 months, maybe 3 months before Modern Warfare 2 first dropped open beta. And I've been playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and rotating through all my other games that I got right before it since then, until now. So I'm not super amazing, but I do okay. All of this started because I was playing Call of Duty Mobile for a little bit, very casually at first, and then I got into it, got to Grandmaster, and realized, oh my gosh, I should have been building a community this whole time. And thought, okay, I need I had launched Squad Teamwork in the game, but I really hadn't been trying very much. I just let it sit there. And I would participate in the clan war stuff, and I never really paid much attention to how many other people. And although I talked about it on stream, I wasn't really trying very hard. So this is me stepping it up. Welcome to Squad Teamwork Guild. One last thing I want to share with you. But first, a little cleansing of the palate. DJ Zed is going to play with you one of his exclusive tracks, Echoes of Our Underground Past, a Tribal Techno 101 live to tape remix live audio engineering, literary fictional music track of discotheque synthetica genre. You've never heard of it. It's never been on the radio because it doesn't exist except as a MacGuffin in the book series I'm trying to write, in which Squad Teamwork, collectively, a fictional version, I'm not going to be naming people from it, the real world experience. It's all going to be fictional. But Squad Teamwork as a thing exists in the Zeppoverse book series. Oh crap, which song we were going to play? There it is. I'll be right back, friends, with the next portion of our show, the mantra. And then we'll sign things off. Executive decision. I just realized I rambled a bit. It's 24 minutes and 44 seconds long enough. I think I covered the Squad Teamwork basic code of conduct. So we're going to tie things off right here with the end of this song. All active members, thank you for tuning in and listening to this. If you've heard it once, please ask if other members that you team up with have listened to this episode. It's the only one that I want to make almost mandatory. I'm not going to push it to that level unless my officers and my really involved members in Modern Warfare 2 say, yes, this should be a requirement and it should be mandatory. All new recruits should listen to at least this episode. Then if everyone votes yes on that, we'll make that a rule. But for right now, it's just very strongly recommended and encouraged, but not mandatory. Thank you for tuning in, friends. If you're a new recruit and you're checking this out, consider yourself preliminarily pre-approved. You've taken the effort, you've tuned into this podcast, you find it interesting, you want to be involved, you like the ideals. Come on into the in-game environment, whether it's Call of Duty Mobile, Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox, or I would normally say Apex Legends, but that game is tragically sunsetting. I did a little fond farewell, a special episode on Twitch as a Twitch exclusive yesterday. Go check that out if you're on Twitch. Mr. Zeppo on Twitch. Give this struggling streamer a hand. Give us a follow if you're on there. Just a quick list. PUBG Mobile, New State Mobile, Shadowgun Legends Mobile, MC Versus Mobile, Lost Light, I just installed, haven't started, but I intend, especially if they have a group system, Free Fire and Free Fire Max, Combat Master, T3 Arena, Cyber Hunter. We're trying to plant seeds and build chapters in each of these, and we're probably adding more. Stay tuned. I'm going to take a break, and then we'll be dropping the special mantra episode next. This has been episode 001, Code of Conduct for Squad Teamwork Guild Command Center Radio Podcast Briefing. Mr. Zeppo going off comms. DJ Zed, play us out. Remember to be good human beings to each other, in-game, in-lobby, on chat, and out there in the real world. This is Mr. Zeppo going off comms. I will see you in the game.